Welcome back, everyone. We're back. Positive Vibes, Session 6, the music production workshop series that we're running. It's good to have everyone back. I know it's difficult times at the moment. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all well. This one is the full marketing exposure. We touched on some of the marketing elements earlier. I just feel like it's vital that we go into marketing on a whole new level. This is a big part of the success of many people. In the business plan, this should be a full section because this is about getting you out there. If you're not out there, you're not going to be successful. No one's going to know you. No one's going to hear about you. Now, if you're in the music game, I'd say 99% of people are out there to be exposed, to get seen, to get more sales, to be more famous, etc., etc. This is what it's about. Soak this one up, take this one on board. We're going to be looking at live examples, people that are already out there doing really well, taking on board their characteristics, find out what they can do and how we can relate it to your personal music career as well. So this one's quite vital. So understanding what it takes to get your name out there, yeah? Master the game. Yes, you can master your lyrical content. Yes, you can build a business plan. You can do all the things we spoke about. You can have your values. You can be true to yourself. Me, I'm now at the music stage. I put my gloves up a long time ago in terms of music. But if I do make music again, I'm not really in this. I'm in the music to make music for myself and a legacy. So I've got different outcomes. So some people, it's not really about the exposure. So this one may not be a relevant session, but for majority of people that I know, they want to get themselves out there. They want to be known. They want to be famous. They want to get thousands and thousands of followers. This is the one for you. This is the one where you need to pay attention. This is about you getting yourself out there and building that brand, building that name, building that image. There's so many things to it. And the next session next week, we're going to be talking about how you protect that once you start establishing that. You got to remember, you're going to be putting in hours, time. Time, you cannot put a value on time. So it's so important that you copyright, you protect all these things. But we'll touch on that next week as well. So understanding what it takes to get your name out there, yeah? Being strategic and smart with that as well. Don't just be slapdash, having no plan. You'll be all over the place. You'll be headless. You'll be a headless chicken running around all over the place, not knowing what you're doing, reaching people that are not interested in your music, and you're just wasting their time, your time, and time is so important. It's invaluable. You can't put a price on time. Yeah, so use your time wisely. Plan. This is what the business plan's about. But today, I want you to use this to enhance the market inside of your business plan. About how you're going to expose yourself to the world. How are you going to expose yourself to your target audience? Exploring what has worked well for the majority. Yeah, so I'm talking about the big names out there. So what's worked well? Let's look at the key trends. You don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. Yeah, if you've already got similar trends and patterns to people that are out there that are already famous, let's look at that. Let's explore that. And what can you take from this? What can you adopt from this as well? You don't have to be an inventor all the time. Yeah, you can invent some stuff, but why not take and learn lessons from people that have done the craft really well? And not only one person, a trend that goes across the board, things that work well for many. The things that work well for many, if you've got a talent, can also work well for you as well. So let's explore that as well. Getting your name out there, that's what everyone wants to do. Like, I don't know many people in the music game that don't want to get their name out there, unless you're me, the odd person. So my goal is completely different. If I'm gonna make music, and that's if, yeah, me making music is about, let me get together a real sentimental piece of work and have that on my collection, have that, pull it out, play it to my grandchildren in 20, 30 years time, and just having something there to show them. I've got work like that already that I can pull out and show people, or go on SoundCloud and I can show people my work. If you're chilling with your friends, you pull out a tune, look what I made last week, you can boast about it. That's just more of a hobby. So I'm on a hobby, but if you're serious and you really want to turn your music into a business and do things serious, you've got to now push yourself to the next level. So open your business plan, take some notes, and there's some actions for you from this session that we're going to be doing today. Yeah, I think the most important thing I want to say to you is be yourself, because if you're not yourself, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be a fake, as people say. You're going to be a fraud, and you don't want to be known as a fake or fraud, because straight away you lose credibility. Yeah, you might be a businessman or an office man, and the next thing you know, when you're on the weekends, your hat goes backwards, your trousers is down to your waist, and you're a completely different person. And guess what? If you feel uncomfortable in that role, it's a stage act, it's a performance, it's an act. It's not you. And what's going to happen eventually? You'll just be exposed. People will pull up on things, and the more you expose yourself, people will start to see the true you, and that gives people room for criticizing you. That gives people room for discrediting you, and it just don't look good for you. It don't look good for your image. So the most important thing I'll say is just be yourself. Be yourself. And in previous sessions we said look at what your strengths are. What is your strengths? What things do you do well at? Start enhancing those things. Start making those things bold. Start making those things stand out. Do well at the things that are you. Be yourself is so important. And you know what? Being yourself will get you out there. Trust me. And you just got to be bold with certain things that are within you. Yeah. Let me give you an example. If you're a well-spoken person, you speak really well and you know how to articulate yourself, and you're good at poetry, you're good at rhyming, you're good at putting lyrical content together, use that to your advantage. Don't just sit on it and put it to the back burner because people are going to think I don't sound like Stormzy with the road slang and all these different things. Use that to your advantage. It's interesting because there's a rapper, is like a comedian rapper, almost like a Michael Dapper, but he's called Unknown P. And when he raps as a posh geezer. But it's interesting because he's doing a whole parody type thing. He's just sort of mocking what a posh rapper would look like. But it's interesting. But there's a natural talent there with this guy. I don't even think he knows it. And if he really took it serious, he's an articulate guy. He's well spoken. He's come from a good background. And if he took the music game serious and he started articulating himself in a proper way and using that to his advantage, he could really blow up with that. But there's not many posh rappers out there. And that's one example of someone being themselves. Another one might be, you talk of a lisp. Use the lisp to your advantage. It might be that the lisp is your thing, and that is the way you stand out and makes you bold, and it gets you to, a cut above the rest. We spoke about USPs before, but I can't stress enough, being yourself will help you be comfortable, and if you're comfortable, you'll be putting out music that there's no tomorrow. You won't feel uncomfortable. If you start to put on the image or an act, it can make you uncomfortable and you put yourself in a position where you're struggling to produce stuff, like original good stuff. So the main thing is be yourself and produce what is good, that is coming from you, like within, deep. No mess, no acting, no putting on a character. You don't need to do that. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't do the odd one or two tunes where you're sort of doing something a little bit different, or a parody or something new. That can work, but ultimately be yourself, because people are not silly, fans are not silly. You'll be exposed and you'll look silly, you'll lose your credibility and you'll lose fans. Yeah, I'm not going to labor that one too much because it is what it is. Think about the most successful strategies used. What are they? What are the most successful strategies used by some of the big household names in the UK and across the world? Western music is massive. America, UK are trendsetters. It's big. Even some artists across Europe as well. We're doing big things, but you need to think about what has worked well for some of those big names. Yeah, what has worked well. We're going to look at that later, and there's a task for you to take away from that one as well, because you can pick up on some key points, and maybe you're doing some of those things already, but you really need to highlight those things and be consistent and keep doing them. Yeah, we'll touch on them later. So just start thinking about that, yeah, because that will help you get yourself out there and be a cut above the rest. And if you're not doing those key things, if you're not doing those things those strategies that have helped, people who are famous get to where they are today, key trends, you're missing a trick. You're missing a trick. Yeah. And just like I said earlier about being yourself, stick to your values, and don't conform to please, because again, you'll be exposed. You won't be, keeping it real is a big thing, being real to yourself, and just sticking to your values. That's so cool. If you're a Christian person and you're putting out gospel music, and you know what, you want to start pleasing people, so you start swearing and you start talking about nonsense and crap. That's not you. That's not you sticking to your values. You're stepping aside, and you're almost disrespecting yourself and what you believe in just to please people. Don't do it. Put your gospel music out there, because there's so many people that will appreciate your values and what you stand for. In fact, there's many people out there and parents that would buy your music because it's going to be clean, the values you stand for, and you're putting out a positive message. Hopefully, anyhow, if you're a Christian. But that's just an example of where I'm coming from. But why would sticking to your values get you out there? Because it gives you credibility. People who are credible get more followers, get more viewers, get more of a big following going. Yeah. So this is crucial. Being yourself, it gets you out there because you begin to build credibility. You know what, this guy is real, and you begin to build a core fan base. Word of mouth spreads. You know what, this guy's he's talking for on behalf of us. You're hitting your target audience. Your target audience get behind you. They believe in you. It's some real stuff that's coming out. Yeah. What are you doing now? What are you doing right now that's working for you? Yeah. Back in the day, about 10 years ago, people were putting out CDs on the high street. That was a nice approach. You know, it was getting some people out there. It was popular. Yeah. And that could work. You know, now people may look at you a bit funny if you're putting out CDs on the streets because CDs ain't really in. But could you be doing something like busking? Is busking working for you? I know many people that are out on the streets busking, putting a hat out on the streets. They get their permission, they get their license, and they're out there. It's almost like a 9 to 5 job. They're out on the streets singing back to back. They've got their little banner up, and it works well for them. This is what gets you out there. Yeah. If you're not doing that, why don't you try that? You know, I've seen rappers do it on the streets. They get a little pop-up banner with all their details on it so people can follow you. You know, sometimes people don't want to come up to you. They may not want to come up to you and ask you a question or disturb you. They may be a little bit embarrassed. But if you've got a pop-up banner behind you and all the information about your Instagram, your SoundCloud, all your social media platforms, where to find you, where to buy your music is there, and they like the sound of what they're hearing on the high street when they're shopping in JD Sports, River Island, H&M, boom, you're getting yourself out there. How many people go past H&M, River Island, JD Sports a day? Thousands. So why aren't you on the streets right now on a Saturday putting out your music? Why not do that? Why wouldn't you do that? That's another big thing. It works. You know, I've seen it work for guys. I've seen it for so many people on X Factor who've done that. It works. You know, these are the things that can get yourself out there, get your name out there. And if you do it on different high streets across the UK, you know, this should be part of your strategy. This should be part of your business plan. All right, I'm going to go out on the street and busk. I may not, if you're too prideful to go and put a hat out and earn some money from it, just put it out there. Just go out and entertain the people. It's hard times right now, so people will appreciate the motivation and the good music. You know, another thing you can do is publicity stunts. You know, people organize a clash. So you and maybe someone who's a rival could organize a clash where you're clashing each other, and maybe something goes out and you're putting out hashtags, and maybe he cussed your mum, or maybe he beat you up. You know, there's so many things you can put out there as publicity stunts. So many people do it. You know, people fall for it as well, which is quite crazy. The whole Wiley and Stormzy thing, is that real or is that a publicity stunt? Yeah. When these rappers in America are beefing each other, are they using that as a publicity stunt? You know, one of the best people at publicity stunts is 50 Cent. This guy does so many publicity stunts, and then 2 months later, he's friends with the person. So he'll cuss someone off, cuss their mum off, and the next month, he's friends with them. They're sitting down having lunch and dinner. But could you be doing something similar? But, you know, a lot of these things are pre-arranged. They're pre-organized. Yeah, it's all scripted and written up. But why not do something similar? Why not script something that will catch the attention or catch the headlines, you know, of people and get your name out there? Yeah. And consistency, whatever you're doing, do it consistently. So if you're putting out publicity stunts, do it. You know, you can't do publicity stunts too often, but do it every 3 months or every month. Put out a big publicity stunt with hashtags. It might be that my man cussed my mum, or my man dissed my mum, or my man tried to take my lyrics or stole my lyrics, or whatever it is. But agree it with the person you're doing with. Do it properly. Plan it out, and know who you're targeting with it as well. It's all marketing. It's all part of your strategy. You know, if you struggle with this is marketing. Overall, this is marketing. If you struggle with this, and we mentioned before, the music game costs. If you're struggling with things like this, you need to get a team behind you. You know, and that's my last point: having a dedicated team behind you who believe in you. Yeah. So if you're struggling with marketing and exposing yourself, you need to get people out there who can help you with it. But the main thing I'm going to say to you is, when those marketing people come in, they will try and, you know, make you someone you're not. So me personally, this is my advice to you: stick to your guns, tell them what you want, be true to yourself, be yourself, and most importantly, stick to your values. Don't start going beyond things that you don't believe in. That's not true to your values. You know, if you're starting to rap about things that you don't believe in, that you don't accept, or you're not, you know, that totally contradicts what you stand for and what you appreciate. But yeah, if you struggle with some of these things I said, you're gonna have to get a budget, and you're gonna have to pay someone to do it for you. You know, these people are professionals. They're trained. They know what they're doing. You know, I've got limited knowledge on it as well. But if someone came to me and said, you know what, Chris, I want you to be dedicated and focus on my marketing, I know I could take someone's marketing to the next level and their brand and everything about them to a whole new level. And you can do the same. The most known artists ever. Yeah. Look at these images and these faces. These are some of the most known artists ever. Man like Elvis Presley. you know, Taylor Swift. You know, I didn't even realize that Taylor Swift was one of the most known artists ever. And in the next slide, she comes on my next slide as well. Um, Michael Jackson. That's quite obvious. Yeah. Madonna, out there, out there. Eminem, Elton John. Now, why are these people here in front of us? I've only picked 5 people. Why are these 5 individuals, mixture of men and females, um, some of the most known artists ever? Why? Yeah. Now, if any of you think that these people became famous overnight, you're wrong. These people were consistent. In the last slide, I spoke about consistency. They were in the same position where you are right now, starting off, making your music. No one ain't seeing you. No one ain't recognizing you. If you look at each of their stories, and I urge you, I encourage you, study their journey, study their story, and look at points where you can take from their stories, points what they did to get themselves out there or where they had a break. Take points from these things is so important because this will help you begin to expose yourself to the next level. But what I would say, and I'm going to come onto this at the end, is choose people that you can relate to or relate to your music. Don't choose Elton John if you're a rapper because it doesn't relate to your music. But, big but, there are going to be some things which are transferable that you can pick up on. So study these artists, and pick up on key points. But we'll come to that at the end. That's a little task for you. What has made these people, or why are these 5 people in front of me as an example, the most known artists ever? Yeah? Why? And only you can answer that. We can all answer it, to be fair. I can give you some points. The biggest thing for me is every single one of these people were dedicated and consistent. They chose that music was going to be a career, and they chose that music is going to be their full-time job. This was no half-hearted job. Listen, if you're half-hearted, you won't get the results. But if you're full-hearted and you're treating your music like it's everything, you will blow up. You will blow up. But you have to treat it like a full-time job. Trust me, but when you begin to start treating your business like a full-time business and you're putting a business plan down in place or a full-time career and you're writing up strategies and publicity stunts and ways that you're going to get yourself out there, you will blow. Your name will get out there. But you have to take it serious. And the way you take it serious is by consistency. Every single one of these people in front of you on this board right now were consistent and are still, well, some of them rest in peace, Michael Jackson, were consistent, are consistent, still doing their thing. Retired. Elvis Presley, RIP as well. Yeah. So consistency and treating it as a full-time career is a big thing. All of these people in front of me did that. Yeah. So if you want to expose yourself, you're going to have to make sacrifices and make this thing a full-time, dedicated career. This is no half-hearted, part-time job. Get that out of your head. Yeah. Every single one of these people before you created an image for themselves. And that comes back to what their values are. This comes back to what they stand for. If you look at them, they've all got their image. Wherever you look at their photos, they've all got iconic images. Elvis Presley, slick back hair, the slick eyebrows. You know when you put the finger and you wipe your eyebrows, that stern look in the face. Look at him, that flyboy back then. All the ladies loved him. Yeah, his clothing, it was sharp. That was his image. Yeah, the microphone with the one hand. He had his image on lock. He had an image that people dig, that people wanted to follow. Yeah, and I can't stress enough, an image is a big thing. If you've got a sloppy look about you, it's not going to complement your music. But if you've got an image that is bold, that is slick, that is neat, that is nice, but again, make it stick to what you stand for. There's no point wearing hippie clothes if you're not a hippie and you're doing it just to please people because the hippie thing's in. Do you? Yeah, do what makes you happy, but do it well as well. Put some effort into it, plan it out, because this is what I like. This is what I like to wear. Eminem, plain ass guy, but always had that bold, Blonde hair, bold blonde hair and a serious face. Never really smiled. Like that's Eminem. Real plain, nice and simple. Nothing too iconic about him, but you can always tell with the hair. Taylor Swift, don't know much about her to be honest with you, but from looking at all of her photos, there's quite a consistent image going on. Um, Quite a consistent image, and she stands out. Michael Jackson, wow, what can I say? The biggest image on the page, and yeah, this guy had a massive image. And I think the biggest thing for Michael Jackson was his story and his journey, and that's a big thing as well. That the media followed his journey from day by day. This guy went from black to white, from you know family man leading in a band to multi-millionaire, almost billionaire, like massive. But again, he still had the image. Michael Jackson always had the long hair. He always had the glove on, the shoes. I know when he started that up, people were mocking him like, "Where you going with them clothes, Michael?" But Michael had clothes that he had people following his clothes and his image later on. Let's look at Elton John, the glasses, the flamboyant clothing, crazy clothing if you want to call it that. But everywhere you go, you see Elton John with some crazy glasses. That's him. Like he'll go down. That is a big thing. I like it. Actually, I must say. And then Madonna, big bold hair. She'd wear some crazy outfits as well, and almost that supermodel type look. Yeah, she's like an older Taylor Swift now. But I suppose the next thing is that we can pick up on is why are they known is because they. I think the main thing is they put in the work. They all put in the work. They all did things. They did publicity stunts. They put themselves in places where they can be established. And I think with all of these guys, when they got themselves to a certain level, they got a team behind them as well. They got a team of people who believed in them and began to work behind them and put in work behind them as well. These are some of the most known ever artists in terms of plays, in terms of exposure, in terms of being known. Now I want to look at some of the highest paid musicians and why. Yeah. So again, we got Dr. Dre, 950 million pounds strong. Um, Not only through music, but this guy was looking at all angles. So he got involved with the Dre beats. He got involved with tours. He got involved with albums, and another part of his thing was producing. So maybe you could, to get yourself out there, you could diversify. One thing that complements music very well, and people forget to look into it, is clothing. CDs no longer sell as much as they did, but clothing and T-shirts will never die out. These things are what you can, something hard and tangible that people can physically buy. Maybe as your album comes out, maybe you create a physical clothing item to go alongside that album to complement it. And that's how you increase, your exposure and also increase your income as well. We spoke about the income streams the other week, so I won't go into too much detail about that as well. Taylor Swift really surprised me. 825 mil. Madness. I didn't realize how big she was. Beyonce, 685 mil. More than her husband. Could be wrong, but yeah. U2, band over there, 675 mil. Diddy, 605 mil. Elton John, 565 mil. Jay-Z, 560 mil. Now, it's worth noting with most of these people in front of us, they've now built themselves to a level where royalties and mechanicals and PRS is just paying them. So they got that residual income. Residual income is where you've put in that work to the point where radio play and your videos online and your brand and your clothing and the things that you're selling, your merchandise, these things are just bringing in rolling income for you every year. You don't even have to create no more music. You've created a business. This is what I'm saying. The business plan's got to be solid. Like, so if you get your business plan going, this is where you want it. This is the ultimate aim for any artist. It doesn't have to be 800 mil. It could be even 50, 60 grand a year. If you're rolling in them sort of salaries just by sitting at home through your music and your merchandise and your brand and the things that you're putting out there, that is a success in itself. But again, why did these musicians get themselves as the highest paid? It's because they had a business plan. It's as simple as that. They all had a business plan. They stuck to their values and they put things out there that meant a lot to them. So Dr. Dre put out his headphones. He's a producer. He created his own headphones. That's important to him. P. Diddy put out, he made an alcohol beverage. Elton John, what can I say? Guy puts out music. He's a producer. He does so many things. Singer, songwriter, you name it. Jay-Z, singer, songwriter. Beyonce, singer, songwriter. All these different things. And the next week we're going to speak about copywriting and how they protect it and how they continue to collect money from the royalties and the mechanicals and the PRS. So big. And another thing which I've missed, which is massive, every single one of these people, one of their biggest income streams in terms of music is touring and events. Big business. So if you can get yourself out there where you're beginning to be, you're touring and you're headlining and maybe you're featuring and you're supporting act, these are big. This is what gets people out there. If stadiums have been filled out with thousands and thousands of people across the world, you do the maths: £20 a ticket, £30 a ticket, £60, £100 in some cases, times 20,000, but times 30, 60 tours. You do the maths. This is why these people in front of us are at 825 million. But for you at this early stage, you're gonna have to put the work into your business plan. And you're gonna have to have someone who holds you accountable, and you're gonna have to stick to it. You have to, like I said, I can't stress it enough. You have to treat this like a business. This has to be treated like a business. You need to treat this like a business, and this business, you need to stick to it. You need to have deadlines, you need to have tasks. And if you're struggling on your own to implement this business plan or write this business plan, invest, get a little part-time job, as I said in previous sessions, and start investing and paying so you can have people do it for you. In the early stages, people have to juggle two things: the job, the 9 to 5, and the music career, until you can get yourself to a stage where you're starting to get a bit of tours and supporting acts, and you're making money through iTunes and YouTube and different things, yeah? So that's the sort of the basics of why people are getting themselves out there. But why? These people had a plan, they were consistent, they stuck at what they did, they never gave up, and most importantly, they're now at a stage where they've got a team behind them doing the work. And these are some basic things you've got to do. If you have not got a business plan, get it done. If you've not got a team of people behind you, pushing you, marketing, promotion, all those different things, establish it. Ask people in your circle who wants to get behind you. It may mean that people have to volunteer at this stage to push you and get you out there, but get these people on board now. Set contracts. This is what I expect from you, and this is what you can expect from me. Yeah? So you know where they stand, and they know where they stand, and you can hold each other accountable to that as well. And be bold, stick to yourself, put out publicity stunts, but include this in your marketing strategy. Have a marketing strategy. Otherwise, you'll be a headless chicken just putting out tunes for the sake of it, wasting money and time. Don't do that. Have a marketing strategy, stick to it, and may your team hold you accountable, or at least one person hold you accountable. That means they will come to you and say, yo, what deadlines are going on? Why have you not hit that deadline? And just keeping you on track. Yeah? So vital. Yeah. So this session's got a task. I want you to list 5 artists that you like, that you admire, that does well, that, you know what, I'd love to be like this artist. I don't know who it is, Jay-Z, Beyonce, whoever. Yeah. Write down what makes them successful. Yeah. What makes these 5 artists successful in your opinion? This ain't no one else's opinion. This is your opinion. What makes these 5 artists successful? And then write down what led to their exposure. Why did they become exposed? So you may have to do a bit of research here. What made these artists become so exposed to the stage where they're earning nearly £1 billion a year or $1 billion a year? Yeah, like that's substantial. Because you need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking at that sort of level, because if you think big, you'll get somewhere close. Yeah, and if you get somewhere close, that's going to be above, your expectations and the steps. It will push you higher. Okay, and as you write these things down on the paper, I want you to circle what you can do or what you can take from what they done. You need to do some digging and maybe reading some biographies and catch some inspiration as well, man. Catch some inspiration from these people. These are the people you want to be like, you aspire to. These are artists that you like, yeah, that have influence over your musical career. Everybody has an influencer in their life in terms of music. You ask any of those artists. Now you can do it. Circle what you can do right now. Not right now, but make sure you take this one on, guys. This is so important, yeah? Like, write down, circle what you could do, okay? And then I don't just want you to circle it, I want you to implement it. At least implement 2 of the things you circle. And link up with your mentor, yeah? Meet your mentor, continue your business plan, and focus on marketing you. Put these steps into actions. At least 2 of those steps I want you to put into plan. Circle what you can do, put 2 of those things into plan. I want you to circle them, and let's get it going. Yeah, that is the end of the session. It's been nice seeing everybody. Session 6, positive vibes, the full market and exposure. There's some actions there for you